Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm coming to you from the land down under today. And it is Friday, and it's the last Friday of the month, so that means we're doing Pink Fresh Fridays. And today I've chosen to do this layout here of my son and my daughter, and it was taken in 2020 during the COVID period, and it was when my son was out doing his photography assignment ready for the end of the year. I'm using a whole range of items here from the Pink Fresh range. I'm mixing and matching today based on colour, and I'm putting together some framing here. I've got some stickers, I've got some chipboard. As I said, they're all from all different ones. They're not from the same paper range. They're just Pink Fresh, and I'm just mixing and matching by colour as I have stated. I'm going to use these also from the Best Day collection, and that's where a lot of them are going to come from, and they are going to be what I build my cluster in the centre of my page around. As I said, this photo is of my daughter and my son. It was taken in 2020. We had to go out and take photos for my son's photography assignment, and that was down at Yarramundi just after the floods. I've got this leftover piece here from my last layout that I used this paper in, and I'm going to use the circles on this page here on the layout. This is another scrap that I had in my last Pink Fresh layout, and I'm going to use that up today. So I'm using this green floral here, and yes, it's a floral with a boy, but it works. So I'm using a white base to start my project off with, and this one is 7.5 by 12. Then I cut a 2.5 by 12, and I cut a 2 by 12, and the 2 by 12 I'm going to cut a decorative border in with a border punch. And this one here is a spellbinder punch, and it's a dotted doily. I don't know, for whatever reason, every time I use this punch I always manage to not line up the dots properly and have a miscut, but that's okay because it's going to get covered up by the photo, and I'll cover it up with a cluster, so I can still actually use that part on my page. I'm going to mount it with this ombre paper at the back, just to give some lift to the photo, but you can also see that the colours are complementary to the other papers on the page. Using double-sided tape to adhere everything on my page. I always use double-sided tape. Other people use tape runners. You can use glue. You can use glue dots, whatever suits you. So from this page here, I am going to cut those circles out to use as an element on the page. But before I do that, I need to build like a title cluster in the middle of the page. So I'm just going through all of the elements. And I watched a video just recently on how to build the perfect cluster every single time, and it's based on mathematics, and I really relate to that concept about things being mathematical. And she stated that they need to be in clusters of 7, and that they need to be a mixture of large, medium and small, and they can be any combination as long as there is that mix and there is only 7 in the cluster. So I've been trying it out, and it seems to actually work and hold it together. So I've gone ahead and I cut out those circles from the page, and I'm building this cluster, as I said, and it's going to have 7 elements in it at the end. You will see that when it all comes together. I've fixed the circles down, and I'm putting the picture into place. That's really important so that you can then just build around it, because I want that cluster not to touch the photo this time. I want it actually to stand free alone. And once these circles are in place, I can then start building up those as elements on the page. When I look at a layout, I always use the photos as my starting point, and I use the colours from the photos to guide my paper choices. So as you can see, they were out in the bush. We just had a major flood, and so we were down at a place called Yarramundi, and that place always goes under when it floods, and so it was setting up some interesting features that my son could use for his photography assignment. So my 2 children here, my youngest son and my youngest daughter, were still at school at that time. We'd just done a small lockdown period in 2020 that led to the big one in 2021, but they were happy at this time, and we were out exploring, looking at the pebbles, looking at the wash from the flood that had gone through, and I captured this photo of them standing on this log looking into the river that was just passing by. I'm using stickers now from these collections to build up around the layout, and one of them says weekend wandering. The other one, which I put to the side, says more of this, but I don't leave it there, I actually move it. The one to the top there says happy in this moment, and I'm tucking that as a tuck in behind. I've taken a little tab here that I'm putting in behind this cluster to include it in the cluster. I have a little compass sticker there as well, so you can see that using them across the multiple different collections, you can actually mix and match, and they don't all have to come from one collection to make the page work. I moved that more of this when I realised that I really just wanted that little arrow, more of this, of them together, and then I found the one that says wake up and conquer the world, and I thought that was better, and it also had like their mobile phone in it, and that's what they live by. They lived through their mobile phones when they were in lockdown. This one here I have with hanging out, it says, and then it says hanging out, living our adventure, and that's true. My kids always hang out together. Even now as adults they hang out together. My two boys work together, but all my children hang out. They go out to the movies, they go out together, we go in family events together, so they really do get on really well and hang out together. So this is really what their lives are like. It encapsulates it through these statements. So I'm just going through this ephemera pack again just to make sure that I've got everything that I want to use in it. And I found this little tag here with a heart, which I'm tucking in up there. I'm going to use the butterfly, and that finishes off the elements in that cluster. It is coming together nicely, as you can see, just by that one big cluster in the middle. That's my feature on my page. I do have a tiny cluster down underneath the picture, and I'm now going to add in the sparkly gems, which are from the Pink Fresh range, and they're the little crystals, and they are white so that they complement any colour or any page. So I'm just putting them in clusters of 3. Most of them are 3 smalls, but then I do have a couple of large ones on the page as well. To finish off that little cluster down on the bottom right, I added a star sticker as well, and that's tied in the mustard colour across the page so that I have a balance across the page. And I'm just adding in the last of these little gemstones, which allows the page to be balanced, and I have put it all together. The final element on this page that I do is naming who is in the photograph and where it was and the year. So that's all I'm putting on it. There will be a sister page to this because there are multiple other photos that I took in this same area of them, and I will build a sister page so that they are together. And here you can see all of the circles built up as clusters by themselves, and then that big main cluster there down the centre. You can see that tiny one down here at the bottom and how this has all come together. And I'm pretty impressed with how you can mix and match papers from different ranges in the same paper brand and still come up with a well-balanced layout. Just remember, your photo drives your colour choices, and here's the final layout. Now this is a hop. There are lots of people playing. The playlist is down below. Please make sure that you go and leave everybody a little bit of a love. Give them a comment or a thumbs up. It makes people's day. Lets YouTube know that what we're doing is what you want to see. Don't forget that it's really important that we get that feedback so that YouTube keeps putting us into the main feed and you get to see what's happening around the world in the scrapping world. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and coming to you, like I said, from down under. I hope I've done something to earn a like from you today. Please feel free to copy anything that you see. That's what it's all about. Hit that subscribe button so you'll know when I'm going to put up a new layout. Leave me a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Leave a comment for all of the other players in the playlist below. Find me on all my socials under Kathy Loves to Scrap, even Instagram, where all my layouts end up. That's another page down, another one in my album. Happy scrapping. Until next time.